Hello, and welcome to In These Strange Times, a series featuring Tulsans engaged in conversation about the individual and collective changes we are all experiencing in 2020 and beyond. I'm your host, Alexander Tamahn, and this is episode 2, Racism Unmasked. Please be advised that the nature of this conversation can be very triggering, and the subject matter that we will be discussing may be difficult. With that being said, we hope you enjoy this conversation. I was privileged to hold space with some near and dear friends and amazing Tulsa leaders. We hope that this conversation helps you process and deal with these strange times. But why don't we take a little bit of time, because everybody doesn't know that we're family like that, and introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how this year has been for you, because it's important to name those things and to just speak about our experience. Kanisha, why don't you go first?
I'll go first. My name is Kenny Daniels. I'm a Tulsa native, and for me, this year has not been good. It's been I already dealt with depression and mental illness in general before, but everything that's happening on top of this is like it's the cherry on top. And I've been so much at a breaking point that I've thought about just leaving. And I don't mean like the city or the country. I mean like leaving the earth.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think that's healthy. Like something got to give. At this point, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to actually get well during this time? And it got to be something out there for me. So what I do, I am a culinary seeker. I have invested my time into seeing whatever we can put into our bodies to make our minds right and our spirits right. I know a lot of people eat healthy just for their physical being, but I'm more on a search to see what I can do to get this part right. And I love introducing kids to that kind of platform so they can, the next generation, so they can be able to carry on that legacy.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
Thank you. Negro spiritual.
Well, before I introduce myself, I wanna honor the bravery that you just had, Kanisha, to express that, saying that, about the depression and thinking about leaving this earth. Like, for you to even vocalize that and say that, that's big. That's really big.
It's not easy because people, they tend to feel sorry for you. And it's like, no, it's not that. This is real life. Like, this is how I really feel. I don't want no sympathy or anything like that. It's just, I feel like all of us may have a bit of that in them, but they're scared to say something to somebody.
Me, Negro Spiritual 121. I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, 2020. It's been a roller coaster for all of us, right? You know what I mean? I made it out of my 6th and final COVID depression about a month and a half ago, and I'm happy about it because it's just, I know what you're talking about. Like, I can't take this shit no more. You know what I mean? Like, this shit is really crazy, but yeah, made it past Juneteenth and all that stuff. And so I'm excited, though. I'm excited right now about what the future can bring. You know what I mean? What we are bringing to the future. Institutions like this, things like everything that's happening. We know, if you don't know, it's Tulsa's time. Everybody knows.
Ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary identifying individuals, Jerica.
Hi, I'm Jerica, and poet, creative, curator of the arts. I just enjoy doing things that are creative, and I enjoy providing platforms for other people to do things that are creative and to watch them just live their best lives, really. I just like creating space for people. So that's the work that I do. COVID for me has been, or 2020 for me has been kind of interesting. One part of me, because I was always on the go, like on the go.
Literally.
Part of me is secretly basking in the I get to stay at home all day, every day, and I'm okay with it. Like, well, you mean I just got to stay home with these kids that I raised? Oh, okay.
They mine.
They good. We good. I can do this, cook some dinner. Now, going out into the grocery store together, said groceries is a whole trauma within itself. So it's like you got to take it a little bit at a time, and then also just understanding the gravity of each of these moments that we're in is a lot. So that has been a lot. The work that it takes to make sure that your family is safe on a regular basis is enough. And so then you add into all of this.
Well, first and foremost, Alexander Tamahn,
Yes,
Tulsa transplant, but welcomed member of the community. We're just going to keep reiterating that, reinforcing that. Let's see. So I'm an artist, a teaching artist, community organizer, kind of a servant leader in that capacity. I try to just get in where I fit in. And as far as this year has been, it's kind of been a blur. There's been a lot of wins, and there have been moments that have really put wind in my sails. Time where I'm able to share, with my people, and just kind of really saturate in that moment, and that has filled my cup, and that has helped me. I had several family members pass in a very short time frame. It was very horrific, very traumatizing, like the whole circumstance. And then maybe like a week later, this was actually Mother's Day weekend, and almost like immediately thereafter, Ahmaud Arbery was killed. And many of you know, like, I run like almost every day. That was overwhelming, right? Because my means for self-care was attacked, and it was perverted in a way, whereas I felt so free, and I still do, because I still run at this point, and it took work to get back into that place, but feeling kind of the walls caving in as one of our own just being was taken out for that. And we've seen way too many examples and way too many scenarios wherein we are driving while Black, eating while Black, walking the street while Black, sleeping in our own homes while Black. And
that's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's
Real
terrifying.
talk.
I remember after Breonna Taylor, after that happened with her, I literally going to bed, I was like, oh God, like, will I be next? And that's no way to live. I don't like that.
And then to have a whole, and then to not qualify that with the justice that is deserved for her. Like, we're just not going to address that. We're just going to silently write a check.
Right.
And we're just still not going to address these.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're still not going to address any of these practices that made this okay. So
Yeah.
we're still not going to address these officers that did this. And so it's like, it gets frustrating seeing a lot of Band-Aids and a lot of Band-Aids and a lot of Band-Aids, but no real accountability.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like there's no accountability when it comes to people of color in regards to any actions that take place against them.
Jerica, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Who do we hold at fault for these killings that the police are doing the killings?
I'm going to say, you asked me.
Keep it 100.
I'm
This is
asking
my
you.
opinion. I'm just going to say the country as a whole. And why I am saying that is because we built an environment and we nurtured an environment that considered Black people less than.
But we can't put the country, because you said the whole country, we can't put the country on trial for these individual instances.
Why not?
I'm saying though, we can't, like, how do Breonna Taylor family get justice, if we say just the whole country, what are they gonna do?
Listen, if you knew that these people at a state level weren't doing what they were supposed to do, and then you at a federal level did not step in to say, this ain't it, correct that, this is not what we stand for in this country, then that means to you it's okay.
You're enabling it.
You've gotten to the point I was trying to get to.
I mean, it is.
It's the courts.
It's
the courts. The police can't. The police. That's not the issue. The courts allow the police to act the way they act. And Jericho talk about her kids. You got kids. If your son comes over to my son's house and he steals his PlayStation, and then when I tell you about it, you don't do nothing. Then next time he come over, he steal the Xbox. Why is he gonna stop?
And then I tell you,
you know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Or if he did it, it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, okay.
It's all
there
right.
had to have been a reason, like your son must have unplugged it, and so it was readily accessible.
Yeah.
Or
you see what I'm saying?
Told him he could have it.
The accountability person, exactly. The accountability person being the overseer, the parent is the overseer of the child, the court is the overseer of the legal system of the police. The accountability person is not doing their job. We always attacking the police like they're the problem. They're
a function of
they are a big
problem.
It's the courthouse, man. The courts allow them to the judges allow them to get away with this. The prosecutors allow them.
Are you saying the police aren't at fault?
But and see, I think
you can't like negate them for not. They're the ones who pull the trigger in the end. But at the same time, they're gonna keep pulling the trigger, and we're gonna keep attacking them when we need to go above. We need to go above them.
So you're saying
we fighting the wrong fight. Yeah, we're fighting the police, telling them how wrong they are, what they don't give a damn.
Yeah,
obviously,
right. I got you.
We haven't changed.
I can't even wrap my head around it. It's still going on. Like, where have we went wrong that we haven't switched the narrative of right? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's. Well, obviously, it's not simple, right? There's such a complexity to it.
But for this long.
Right, for this long, but also look at like how resilient we have been.
Yeah.
For this long.
That shouts to us, yeah.
However, part of the problem, I feel like we've just been too resilient, and so as a result, it's like, oh, you're strong, you can take that.
You got no.
I hear you. I mean, I celebrate our resiliency, though.
Yeah,
I get that. I do.
It sucks that we have to have it, and that like we exist on the front lines of this war, because as you spoke to before, like we can be in our own homes, safe and sound, abiding by the law.
Minding our business.
And it comes to us. The fight comes to us.
That's the resilience she's talking about.
That's the resilience that
the
we
defiant
speak to,
spirit.
but it's also the part that makes me the most sad is that I want you to still be running because you love to run, and without any level of potential angst, even if it's at a micro level, and I do my very best, as you were saying, to be a good human being, to be honorable to people, to treat them with respect, and to think that me asking for that in return has to be a radical act, is blowing to me.
It's like,
that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
So how do you then, well, okay, when was the last time that you embraced, spoke, and or acted completely unapologetically as it pertains to your Black womanness?
Even that is hard to answer. I'm not sure, because while I still speak, and even though some of the things that I say may be bold, if I get all the way into it, it's a whole vibe. And then you have to add to that is that when we add in the fact that our opportunities to speak and to share are so limited in the grand scheme, you then have the pressure of making sure that whatever you say, to some degree, is not going to be problematic to the culture.
Everybody here knows my story. I've been in trouble, went to jail. I felt like, damn, I done let all black people down. I done let everybody down. Another nigga done got locked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, white people don't feel that collectiveness, like, I done let the whole race of white people down whenever they've done something. I was like, what? I was like, are you for real?
They get the right to be individuals.
Well, I didn't know. I never knew that. I was like, I thought they felt like, man, you done made us look bad out here, or good job, you did something good we all can be proud of. Like, you know what I mean?
So right now I'm reading The Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health by Dr. Rita Walker. Just within the first few pages, she spoke to something that you just really elucidated without even knowing, and that is that kind of collective identity that is important for us to embrace, I feel. And that shared responsibility, like there are functions of not obviously, you know, community, but also accountability in that it's not just you, it is we, and it is another one of us that is locked up, and that is a member of a family, a member of a community, a contributing and valuable and loved member. What about you though? How have you been unapologetic and embracing, because I know it's a lot of young black men watching you. You're very public figure. And there's importance for that, right?
Yeah. There's responsibility with that, like you say. One thing that my dad used to say all the time when I'm growing up, he's telling me different stories of how to conduct myself and different things. He was like, you think you can do what somebody else can do, like anybody in your class, a white guy, somebody, you can't do what this guy does. Did you forget that you were black? You're not going to get treated the same. And so my Negro spiritual moniker has a lot wrapped up in there, right? It's to, first of all, when people see it, they think it's a Trump hat, so they read it, they're like, oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean? So I like that little throw it off piece about it. And it's about freedom, you know what I mean? It's about freedom. So the statement, everything that I like, my activism is a statement of trying to project unapologetically who I am and what I believe and what I represent. For me, I want Trump to win, but I'm not gonna vote for him. Why do I want Trump to win? We've had all these police shootings we've been talking about, discussing this whole day. We've had these for years, right? We've had these things going on for years, but we never had the collective presence of people all over the country. People collectively hate Trump. More people hate Trump, and that activated them to get off their butts. I'm gonna go run for office. I'm gonna do this. The Democrats have 22 people running for presidency. Why? Because they hate Trump that much. He's activating people to get up off their butts.
Are you gonna vote?
I always vote.
Is that a yes or a no?
Yeah, I'm voting.
But not for Trump, even though you want him to win.
I can't vote for him because all black people would denounce me. Trump said America first, you know, and that was very important, how he said that, how he said it, America first. So he's going to keep dangerous Muslims out. He's going to build a wall. He's going to give the money to the blacks in the colleges and all this, that, and the other. So he's making it seem as he's doing what, you know, for us, what he thinks he's supposed to do. But at the same time, when people are against him, or when people decide to be against, if you're against Trump because he said America first, that means you are anti-American. That is a dangerous narrative. Coupled with the whole Black Lives Matter movement has now been Black Lives Matter versus the police. That's a dangerous, that's
why
dangerous.
Does it have to be that way? It's the part that's frustrating.
Why does it have to be that way? But it is, isn't it? That we have to take responsibility. You know what I mean? Because the system is working exactly how it was designed. We know that. What do we do? How do we stand on top of it? You know what I mean? How do we utilize the law in our power, for our power? That's what we have to do. We can't wait. There's two kinds of people in this world. It's people who command respect,
And demand.
And there's people who demand respect. And people who demand it never get it.
Yep.
So we have to operate in a way where we command respect. And for me, and there's some harsh truths we have to swallow.
As people of color, when we come with our own culture, we come with our own flair, we come with our own, you know, je ne sais quoi. But that what we come with isn't always respected in these
Streets.
in these streets. So yes, I can do my part to make sure that I'm a respectable person, but that doesn't mean that the person that's on the other side looking at that is going to respect it either.
I mean, there's a need for collaboration, right?
Collaboration.
Creative collaboration, like across the board. And I think the continuation of the conversation, right, at every level, speaking specific to the experience as a member of Black Moon, right? So we are a cohort of 9, 10 Tulsa-based Black artists, right? We came together because we were already artists in our own right, already fully into our careers at various stages, whatever they were, is what it is. We're 2.5, almost 3 years now, going strong. And we came together because we were tired of pandering for a seat at a table, right? Seats that are typically rooted in tokenism anyway. So even when you do get a seat at this table, you don't have power, right? You don't have authority. So you're present, right? You may be able to vote, but how much can you influence and augment necessary change, right? That doesn't just mean don't show up to the table if there is an invitation, because your presence does matter, right?
Presence is
so
important.
as so many different institutions, organizations are, kind of clamoring to get on the right side of history and diversify and change their programming, change how they're kind of curating the artistic experience. Now we're invited into these conversations in a seat that is more autonomous than it definitely would have been had we, not erected that table and not gone through all the challenges, hoops, hurdles, and the things to exist as our own entity. Going back to Kanisha, you were kind of comparing like your experience as a Tulsan.
Going to events and stuff out in other cities, just seeing, meeting different people, and them telling me that, oh, y'all have, like, they'll put me on to something like, oh, so-and-so does this, and I do this with them, and I do this with them. But here in Tulsa, I've experienced everybody just wants to be on top of each other. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to elevate and be at the top, but if we're doing the same thing, let's do it together. Why not?
We got to give a lot of credit to the world culture. World culture.
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely.
Everybody involved with world culture, because they really was like, we gonna work together. We're gonna bring people together.
I love it.
Before world culture really started bringing people together with just that mentality and that energy and that mindset, everybody wanted to be the first one to blow out of Tulsa. I'm gonna be the first biggest artist. I'm gonna be the first biggest bookseller, the first biggest chef. I'm gonna be the first out of Tulsa, out of our community to make it. You know what I mean? Like, and like other people have made it, football players, NFL players and stuff like that, but none of them really put a spotlight on Tulsa after making it, graduating, Booker T or whatever school they went to. They didn't really shine that spotlight and come back and really put Tulsa on like people would have hoped they would have. And everybody wanted to be that one, being a Tulsa born, you know what I mean? I know I felt that too.
And I'm glad you mentioned them because they always make my heart happy. I remember when Steph did his concert, and it was a little before everything got shut down.
At the mansion?
Yes. I just love seeing them all work together. It's like, I'm on the stage and I'm going to go ahead and have this concert, this listening party. But then my homeboy, who's also in this collective, is over here selling his tea. And then my other homeboy is right here working the door. He got these t-shirts for you. Like, it was just a whole vibe. And so
that's beautiful.
when you said that, it made me smile because I remembered seeing that and like commenting on it mentally, like, yes, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Justice for Greenwood. What does that mean to you, my sister?
And to see people so bothered with the idea of robbing people of their history, robbing them of their potential in future. Like the trauma that is Greenwood district, that is Black Wall Street, isn't necessarily that it was burned down, but they rebuilt it, right? The next year it was great, it was grand. And then it was the highway that came through. And then you think about how often we are told as a people, like, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps,
right,
and gather your life and make it happen. It's like, no, we did that shit twice.
I'm ready to see. Y'all know the black and white pictures that they have? I want to see that again.
Yeah.
Like, that would make my heart so warm.
Say more.
Oh,
Just
you want
to
to see it brought back to
the
life?
whole,
You say you want to see it brought back to life?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And like, I feel like the more time passes, there's more gentrification going on. For example, those apartments that's not us.
You mean like directly
The apartments next to Lefty's?
Green Arch?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sitting
Yeah.
on top of left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to see us more. Just
In
like
the
like I
space.
see the pictures, the black and white ones
Yeah.
before everything, happened. That was beautiful.
Greenwood was not one street.
Right.
Not at all.
No.
Not that one little short street from Archer up until wherever it stops at Pine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And really up until the school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because after that, you just got the houses of 32 blocks of businesses, residential area, you know what I mean? Hospitals, movie theaters, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Everything you needed. And I learned during this time of my activism that a profitable it was called a walkable community. Have you heard that term? A walkable community. Everything that you need to live
Was it walking distance?
You could
was
yeah.
in
That's what I'm talking
one
about.
square mile. Your school for your kids to go to, your hospital, your entertainment, your grocery store,
That's beautiful.
name it, whatever your clothing store, your shoe shine place, anything you needed was in walking distance, 1 square mile. So that money turned hands over here.
Yeah.
I come over to you to your bookstore. I come to your grocery store. You go to her hair salon. She come, you know what I mean? Outside money comes in, it's gonna stay in there.
Circulate,
You know what I mean? Circulate.
circulate.
Shout out to Steph
Shout
one
out
more
to Steph.
time. Yeah, man. And so justice for Greenwood is land.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say with land, if
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about justice for Greenwood, is land. It's property.
Land.
You know what I mean? It's 32 square, but what was burnt down.
Yeah. And then
It was
rezoned.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's conversation people don't want to give. They don't want to give up their land. You know what I mean?
There's a new Liquid Lounge on Black Wall Street, and every time I walk in there, it's like just what you said, like,
Yeah.
what's up, fam?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Kind of brings me back to the conversation earlier when we were talking about, like, when do you just feel like
That
you can
exhale,
just
like,
be you and
okay, I can
authentically you and authentically take up space?
mhm.
Really, when we're with each other,
Yeah.
you know, when we're in those cookout moments where it just feels like family.
Yeah.
You know, there's
feel
just like
safe.
such a safety.
Yeah.
Like, you own this spot. He comes here every day. She posts up. We're all here, and that's just like such
I love it.
a feeling of home. And I enjoy that part of our experience as Black people is that we do find that everywhere we go.
Mhm.
I have traveled all over the place, and even when I'm out of the
You
country,
could be in the airport or
and
something.
we just find each other, and we all kind of have that very knowing and telling glance, like, hey.
And you ain't gotta say nothing either. It just
Exactly.
be like,
And I'm gonna look out for you,
You're
and I
right.
know that you're gonna look out for
Right.
me, and we can be on the other side of the world.
Yep.
So I just want to thank you all for holding space for yourselves, for each other, for us. I feel a little blacker, a little more unapologetic, a little more Tulsa.
Let's go play the world.
I'm here for it. And I'm here for each and every one of you. And I thank you. I thank you. Yeah, peace and blessings. This was beautiful.
Thank
And I'm
you
glad it was just us.
Thank you for having us.
Mwah.
This is beautiful. Cathartic.
Yeah.
Circulate, circulate, yeah. Circulate, circulate, yeah. Money moving like 100 ways. Fuck around by a bank, yeah. Time to spend it from the ground up. Time to mount up, regulate, yeah. Till we taking back the game, yeah. Circulate, circulate, circulate. My time got my back like a vertebrae. Somewhere along the lines, guess our morals change. If you silver spoon, then you wasn't cool. We supposed to be rich in the first place. Talking 50K play for the worst case.